Hi guys, it's Alia from Podcast Rose. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about how stories can hit you right in the heart, especially when they talk about dreams, pressure, and the mistakes we regret a little too late. And guess what? This episode is exactly about that.
Hello everyone, I'm Wewe. Do you know that some story usually looks simple, but it can break your heart? Yeah, the necklace and the paper menagerie are totally like that. Two different words, but same emotional damage.
Hi, I'm Dina. When we talk about identity, social expectations, or roles that we're forced into, these two stories have layers. And trust me, once you peel them back, the meaning hits different.
Hi guys, I'm Cindy. If you've ever made a choice you regretted or felt pressured to be someone else, well, these stories are going to speak to you.
So, curious about what we're going to talk about? Why these stories feel both beautiful and painful? Why Matilda and Jack felt like they were fighting battles no one could see? And why their mistakes still hit so close to home? If you're ready, let's begin. Welcome to today's episode of Podcast Rose! Hello everyone, welcome to Podcast Rose. Stop talking, strong inside. Hi everyone, I'm Alia and this is Podcast Rose. Today I'm very excited because we were going to dive deeper into two stories that are The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant and Paper Menagerie by Camille. Of course, I will be alone exploring these stories. I'm joined today by three of my amazing friends. Tina, Cindy, and Phoebe. Hi. Okay, because this one be a happy conversation. Grab your snacks and your favorite drink now to keep you cozy while you're watching this episode of Podcast Rose. Okay, before we jump into the serious question, I will ask you guys first. Have you ever felt like Matilda or Jack? Like you want to better fit in with people and then regret. I've been definitely been there.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe not as dramatic as Matilda, but Jake's feelings, that's very relatable.
Yes, I felt like Matilda before. I have experienced times when I wanted to look better and trying to impress others, but I just ended up embarrassing myself and wishing that I had tried that much. And as Matilda, I learned the hard way to not to care too much about my appearance and think too much about what the society thinks about me.
Exactly, the story is meant to be. Please don't let you be like that.
Okay, now we move to the big question of the day. What do these stories actually have in common? We will take it away.
Well, surprisingly, even though the settings are very different, one in the 19th century of France and the other in modern America, both stories still talk about the same thing. So, the necklace and the paper menagerie both talk about desire and consequences. Matilda won a luxurious life, but one bad decision ruined her whole life, and Jack want to fit in with his friend, so he rejected his mother and his culture. Four of them make decisions because of their own desire, and both choices leads to painful regret.
Wow, I like the take. Super interesting. So, from a Marxist perspective, what stands out the most in the papers?
Yeah, materialism is the perfect example of how capitalism pressures oneself to desire a higher social class, and she is unhappy because she believes that her values come from wealth and luxury, and the society has set a standard of beauty that Matilda feels forced to fulfill that standards.
Right, and the desire pushed her into the language of suffering.
Exactly, and her tragedy isn't just personal, but it's systematic. So Matilda is a member of lower middle class, but she tried to imitate the bourgeoisie, and the capitalism punishes her for stepping out of her class. And the story shows how the upper mobility is not only difficult but also destructive.
Great point. Now, how about paper religion? It's a very different context, but what does Marxist criticism reveal?
Yeah, and in the Menagerie, Jack's struggle also tied to the class ideology. I mean, his mother is a poor Chinese immigrant who makes him pepper animals for pepper instead of buying him expensive toys. And Jack feels ashamed because the dominant culture, which is the white American, teaches him that words comes from wealth position and assimilation.
So, the pressure is social and economic at the same time.
Very much so, because Jack rejects his mother because he feels that she doesn't fit the capital's ideals of success.
And in the end, Jack realizes the emotional cost of chasing social acceptance.
Yes, and just like Matilde, he learns slowly that chasing the dominant class can lead to regret, loss, and fragment identity.
Okay, well said, Tina. So now, from a psychology perspective, why did they do what they did?
Psychologically, it's simple, but characters and related to because they feel unsure about themselves. Matilda from the neglect has low self-esteem but high ambition. She wants to look impressive, but she doesn't think realistically. She cares too much about looking rich, so she makes a choice without thinking about what might happen. And then Jack from the paper Menagerie is similar too, but in a different way. He wants to be accepted, he's scared of being different, so he rejects everything about his mom. The main reason behind his action is because the desire to fit in and identity economic.
So, social pressure and psychology work together.
Exactly, but stories show that choices driven by pressure or ambition often leads to sad endings.
Yeah, and the characters are in vacuum, but they are shaped by their own environment.
Yep. And as readers, we learn that we should let social status and peer pressure control our lives.
Yeah, love that.
I think what story reminds us to be careful about what we desire. Ultimately, the necklace and the ribbon menagerie both teach that happiness doesn't come from other people's standard, but from accepting who we truly are before it's too late.
And to be aware how society shapes our decisions.
And that ignoring who you really are always comes with a cost.
This is the end of our discussion. Thank you for joining me and thank you for watching. Stay true and I hope you got something to learn from this video. See you!